Mikel, the journey ends here tonight. What are your initial thoughts after that?
Well, first of all, congratulate PSG for reaching the final. The assessment, I will make it when I'm a little bit cooler, but the feedback that I got straight away from their bench is that we were much better than them. When you look at the two games, who has been their best player on the pitch, has been their goalkeeper. He's made a difference for them in the tie. And I think we were very close, much closer than our results showed. But unfortunately, we are out. I'm very proud of the players, what we've done today, the way we started, how we handled the pressure, the amount of pressure. After 20 minutes, it should be 3-0. But yeah, there is something extra that you need in the competition to go your way, and it didn't.
Are you proud of the fact that it's the second season in the Champions League, quarter-finals, semi-finals? What ultimately might get you over the line potentially next season?
I don't am upset, and we should not be. Yeah, we were very close. Yes, for long periods of both games, we were much better than them. But we are not there, and that has to hurt. And if we want to win this competition and go there, we need to realize that. And there are certain things that are on us. And you shouldn't be just understanding that we are out. It's not the way I look at it.
Are you happy, or have you seen enough progress with your team this season?
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's been a better team in the competition so far, what I've seen. But we are out tonight. We deserve much more, I think, in both games. But this competition is about the boxes, and in the boxes there are normally the strikers most of the time and a goalkeeper, and he was the best player in both games.
Ultimately, what do you want to do over the summer to make changes or add to get further?
I'm so proud of the boys, and what they deserve a lot of credit for what they're doing in the context and the situation, and with the amount of injuries. We have arrived here probably in the worst state that you can arrive as a team. You have to get here with everybody fit, available, with a lot of minutes, with rest, like they had a week. We come here in a completely different context and still do that. So that gives me a lot of positivity for the future. But tonight I'm very upset.
Exactly how this happened, because one thing that is quite interesting about this game is this is the most amount of shots, 20, that PSG have conceded at home in all competitions all season, and that is so impressive and perhaps says something about the way that Arsenal went after this game, Jack.
Yeah, I think that's credit to them. It's clear what type of game they wanted. They wanted to be on the front foot, they wanted to be aggressive from the start, but you can see with all them shots and only 4, maybe 5 on target, that's the finishing quality. At this level you need it.
You're an Arsenal fan watching at home, Martin. Are you proud of the way they went after it? Are you frustrated with the way they approached the game? What do you think?
I think both, really. I don't think they would have been surprised, some of the fans, because in front of goal it's been tricky. Obviously since February, where you've lost Havertz, Jesus was already injured. I think it was a gallant performance tonight. Definitely can be proud of that, but it's about being more clinical in front of goal, and that's either that's another player or they find another way to score goals. But tonight, that's an area where we were sadly lacking, really, when it really came down to it.
There were so many chances so early on. They'll look at that back and think, oh my goodness, if only one of those had gone in, it could have changed the complex of the whole game.
You're right, Laura. You just need one to fall your way. And obviously they don't have that striker, and Kai Havertz done a brilliant job filling in there. But if you think about when the moments came for PSG, they won them. Donnarumma made big saves, and I thought Arsenal, credit Mikel, he had a game plan at the beginning of the game. Long balls, crosses, throw-ins, and they actually dominated the game, but they needed a goal to show for it, Laura. Against the run of play, PSG got a goal, and then I think that changed the momentum of the game. But before the game, I said to Mikel about second balls. It's such a little thing, but you know what, in this game it adds up. The first goal is the second ball, header from Partey, you win the second one, and the second goal is the same. So, and again, it feels like a little thing. It's a poor heading from Partey, he's got to head it back. But that second ball, you've got to win that, Laura, in your box. And then you allow a player like Ruiz there who takes a touch. It's just these moments add up, Jack, in the game, and I just thought they went against Arsenal today.
He's out of position, Martinelli, and he's recognised it a little bit too late, and then he can't slow down. Ruiz is a good player, he's recognised it. He wants to get on his strong foot, and then he gets a little bit of luck, but he's made that.
How difficult for Raya as well, such a big deflection, as you're saying, off the back of Saliba.
Yeah, to be honest, I think the goalkeeper was beat anyway. I know he gets a deflection, but that's hitting the back of the net. It's a remarkable. It was really patient as well from Ruiz. Lets it run across his body. Martinelli's a little bit naive. He's trying to get across, but the header really kills everyone. He's got to head that out front of the corner and reset.
Talking about second balls, you mentioned it as well for the second goal. Jack, why don't you talk us through this one for Hakimi?
Yeah, this is what we're talking about half time. That pass there, like, you don't have to make that pass. That's what they want. They want you to pass it inside, and now look at them start to run. They've got players that can carry the ball like that and give time for other players to get in the box. And then they have quality in these areas. Partey maybe can be a little bit more aware of that situation. But then, yeah, it all comes from Arsenal making a mistake they didn't have to make.
But you know what, one thing I would say, Lower, the two fullbacks, the two best in the competition. Hakimi's got 3 goals, 5 assists in this competition. Mendes has got 4 and 2. That means you're getting 14 goals and assists from your fullbacks with a world-class goalkeeper and a world-class front three and a balance in midfield. So this PSG team is proper, and I think they showed it today.
Hakimi, I mean, more touches than any other player. He's scoring again, 3 shots on target. You know, it's incredible. He's a right back, and he's got more touches than anybody else on the pitch. It just says it all.
Picked up man of the match tonight as well.
Yeah, and I think that's why the first goal for Arsenal was so important, because then it became a game where PSG could wait for their moments, and when you're chasing a goal and you become a little bit more expansive and your distances become big, then when you're playing against good players, they're going to hurt you, and unfortunately they did that.
Martin, the Arsenal goal did come eventually from Saka. Would you like to take us through this?
Later, Martin and Shay have been watching this with me. There was a key moment, and we thought it could be a decisive moment, swinging it towards Arsenal, when they had a penalty awarded against them, which was saved. Shay, I think everyone felt the penalty itself was harsh enough.
Yeah, I don't think this is a penalty. I mean, Hakimi has a shot, it comes off Lewis Skelly's arm. I don't think there's any doubt in that, but to give a penalty for this is ridiculous. Even look at Hakimi's reaction and the players around him. Not one Paris Saint-Germain player claims a penalty. Hakimi's right there. He's not even put his hand up with a claim for a penalty. There's a guy in a VAR going to referee. This has skimmed his hand on the way through. Like, he's just turned his back and he doesn't even know it's going to hit his hand. It's the most ridiculous penalty I've ever seen.
I absolutely agree. It's almost as ridiculous as this penalty being taken. You know? It's catastrophic, really.
I mean, they look great when they go in, don't they, Martin?
Yeah. But this is nonsense.
But it takes an error from the goalkeeper as well.
Oh, it's brilliant from Ryan. Don't give it
that. You have to delay and delay.
He stands up really well. It's a brilliant save, actually, but it's very casual.
Yeah. Getting back to the penalty, I'm not an apologist for Arsenal, far from it, really. Yeah. But it's never a penalty, and it's just as there it was saved. Really. I don't know where these VAR lads come from.
Crazy.
Genuinely do not know where they come from. How on earth they could think that there was handball?
We had thought briefly they could be looking at something the other way, because Saka had been tripped in the box by Kvaratskhelia. But
again, when Ryan makes a save like that, when you think that gives them impudence, doesn't it? It gives them a lift. We'll tell you what, it could be all night. You know, you've seen the Saka chance as well. They had their chances, should we say?
They did. The game was put to bed ultimately by the Hakimi goal that we've just seen a glimpse of there. We can see it in all its glory here, Martin. Not from an Arsenal point of view.
He's allowed to run with the ball. Now, Arsenal get a little bit tired there. They've been on the attack. The ball has broken down here. It's a little ball into the penalty area. But Partey doesn't see the man coming. And there's Hakimi playing centre forward for a right back to put the ball in the net. And it's, that's sometimes the way they play the game. They get men forward in positions. It's a really brilliant goal.
The worst thing, sorry Martin, about this from an Arsenal point of view, KVR has no pressure on the halfway line. He's a terrible pass in the midfield. So that's
in the first instance,
that's one mistake.
Yep.
And then you get away with it. Partey gets back, tracks back, and maybe a bit of tiredness because he missed a game or two. But he has to be aware who's behind him.
Absolutely.
So one mistake leads to a second mistake, and before you know it, Hakimi, as you said, like an attacking fullback's a brilliant finish from Hakimi.
Well, I mean, he's a very good player. Going forward, he's terrific. And so is Mendes on the other side. They're brilliant going forward. I'm not wildly sure about Mendes defensively, but listen, that's for the future.
We always thought the Gabriel injury might come back to haunt them, and obviously Kivior there making the mistake in the first place. It probably doesn't happen if Gabriel is there. Is it too simplistic to say that if he had been available, their main centre half, along with Saliba for the two ties, might have been enough to push them through?
But Owen, you have to deal with these things. You will get injuries during the course of the season, and honestly, I used to put up an excuse to myself about injuries, and that was after the first game of the season. So, but really, no, you have to deal with them. Arsenal have the capability to deal with these players who come into the side. You have to have something. If you're going to play for Arsenal Football Club, you have to have something. If you've been sitting in outside the picture for a number of weeks, you've got to get yourself mentally tuned into it. Kivior, I don't think, has risen to the occasion, I must admit, and I think Shay's absolutely spot on about it. But you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready for these games. And and he's been found wanting in these particular matches. Less so tonight, but he did make the mistake.
Because Saka can't ever really be accused of not rising to the occasion, and he did his best. He got them the lifeline that they needed.
He did. I mean, this is quite refreshing. Trossard and Marquinhos, there's a bit of a coming together, and yes, there's a bit of lean to the back of Marquinhos' back. He's clearly looking for a foul, and for me, it's not a foul. It's quite refreshing from the referee to actually play on. Because how many times do you see a defender, if they feel any contact, they go over. He even tries to grab the ball to make it obvious.
Yes, he does grab the ball.
Yeah, I know, but it's good advantage from the ref. I don't think it's a foul. There's a bit of a luck because it comes off Pacho, then it comes off Hernandez. It falls beautifully for Saka and he taps it away. But see here, he's not strong enough there, man, as a defender. He's clearly looking for a foul. He tries to catch it, which he got wrong as well. You see there's a bit of luck here. Pacho's inside ankle, then Hernandez gets a really good block. It falls lovely to Saka, and it's a brilliant finish from that angle. So it gives them a bit of a lifeline. But again, going back to the goal, Kivior and the party mistakes, you know, that goal goes in, and that, you know, I know it's ifs and but we're all over ifs and buts again. But the frustrating thing from an Arsenal point of view, they'll think that's a terrible goal to give away the second one, and then Saka gets them right back in the game.
That was Exhibit A in the Marquinhos.
The positive side of it, they're absolutely now in the game again, and there's no doubt about it that they. Paris Saint-Germain are wilting at this stage. They're looking at the clock, they're trying to cut down the time, they're doing all of these things, and then you get this big moment for Saka.
So how did he miss it?
I have no idea. Of all people, because he's just scored a couple of minutes earlier, and this is a big moment. Calafiore puts this ball across the box, and for once Donnarumma doesn't get to it. Maybe Saka's just slightly onside, but if he gets the proper touch on it, it's in the net, and it's 2-2, 79 minutes.
He must think that the goalkeeper is about to get the touch.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does. I think he sees it all the way. It's obviously his weaker right foot, and he's just tried to get the contact on him for whatever reason. Even if he mishits that or hits it with his studs or anything, he gets a connection too good. But again, that was, I think, like 79th minute. If he gets that in, you said the crowd are wilting, the players are wilting. It's a huge moment.
Yeah. And you could see that just about 5 minutes before that there, even before they got the goal. Paris Saint-Germain think they've done enough. They're breaking up a little bit of play, but they're slowing it down. Donnarumma has gone, he's held on to a ball that he should pick up, and then about a minute later he picks himself up off the ground. So they were concerned, and that's rightly so too. They've put a lot into the game. They think
because he keeps going. You know, Marquinhos just dives, and the referee plays on, which we didn't see a lot of in the first tie, if I'm honest. And then they get a little bit lucky, but I didn't think there was a foul. I thought he dived, and he puts that ball into the danger. It's a lucky deflection, but then fair play to Saka, keeps going. And really, I mean, it's the only way to beat this goalkeeper when he's actually. He hits the deck, and he's out of the way of it, and then he can just roll it in. And then you wondered then, that second chance came, didn't it, shortly after that? And if he could have put that away, we might have had a different tie.
Credit as well to the subs, because for this chance that you're going to see in a second as well, Saka's next chance that he didn't manage to put in the back of the net, it was both of the subs that came off the bench to create those.
But you know what as well, I think it was really tricky against Mendes because he's such a brilliant defender. When Saka came inside, he was brilliant and he created a couple of massive moments. This one maybe just takes his eye off it. Maybe Donnarumma puts him off, but tackle it, head it, let it hit anywhere. That needs to go in. If that goes in, Laura, wow, what a finish we're going to have. But it just didn't go their way in the big moments which they needed to.
What did you think watching that, Martin?
Yeah, it was painful. It was painful, and it will hurt Saka, and he won't be sleeping for 2 or 3 nights. But, you know, I think he can be proud of what he offered tonight. He was causing major problems for Mendes early booking. We didn't see a lot of him in an attacking sense tonight because of Saka on the pitch.
I know, Jack, like they won't be feeling it now, and there's always a question to say, what do they learn from getting this far in the competition? And, you know, will they come back stronger next season? But do you think genuinely Arsenal as a team are getting closer and closer to something?
Yeah, I do, and I know that the fans and the people at home will be frustrated with this, and probably frustrated with me saying it, but I do, and it is another step, and of course, like where we were, I mean, there was probably 4 or 5 years where we didn't qualify for the Champions League, and that was really tough. And Mikel came in, and you know, he had to build something from almost from the start, and get rid of players and bring some players in. And I think, as I said before, when you look at PSG is probably a good example. They haven't won it in ages, and it feels like it's probably their time now. And as frustrating it is for us Arsenal fans, it's unfortunately we're probably going to have to go through that process.
They can't do it for too long or keep doing it like this because they don't want to become the nearly team that always misses out. Second place in the Premier League again and again, semi-finals of Champions League. I mean, some teams would bite your hand off for that, but do they need more?
I think it's a bit unfair on Arsenal. I still think they're a young team. I think they're developing. I think they progressed from last year when they went out against Bayern. I think they've improved dramatically this year. They're missing two of their best players, Kai Havertz and Gabriel, and they need a striker. So if you look at the depth of the other semi-finalists, they got way more depth and opportunity to rotate players. I think Arsenal, Jack made a great point, how hard it was for City and PSG to win this Champions League. It's hard. There's a lot of great teams with bigger budgets than Arsenal. But this summer, you'd love to see the club going back, Mikel, and bring in a striker or maybe bring in another one. Because I think goal scoring wise, I think they're 19 less than Liverpool. That's a big difference. They're this close, but they need to invest to get the players to help them make that final step.
Yeah. Okay, let's get some reaction with the PSG fan. Oh, Jules is speaking with Reshmin Chowdhury now.
Laura, thank you. Yeah, he is our French football expert, but he is a PSG super fan. And do you know what? I can confirm, you didn't actually breathe up in the gantry where we were watching until Hakimi scored. How do you feel now? Deep breath.
Better. I could not even sit down, to be fair. I had to stand up the whole game. It was tough because Arsenal made it tough for PSG, and we said before the game, all of us, that there was not much between the two teams. It was fine margin in the first leg, same in the second leg. Maybe Arsenal lose this tie in the first 15 minutes at the Emirates and in the first minutes tonight, because they could have been 2-0 up today, really. And I think this is those moments that the boys were talking about as well, where you have to take your chance, and if you let it go, then you get punished.
But you didn't get punished. You didn't let it go. You are through to the final. Tell me, what does it mean for this club? It's the second final now, isn't it? The last one was behind closed doors in 2020, and of course you didn't win it. But you're there now. How much does this mean for this group of players and for this club that's waited so long for something like this?
It's always been the holy grail, really. Even back in the 90s, when David Ginola, who's here for French television, was playing, they came close twice and 2 semi-finals in a row, but never got over the line. And then there was that final, you're right, in 2020. Behind closed doors, where it's the Mbappe and Neymar team, the variety team, and Thomas Tuchel on the bench, and Bayern with maybe just a little bit too clinical for PSG. We're still learning. This is a different story. It's a different team. It's a young team. It's Luis Enrique's team. It's his birthday tomorrow. He's 55. 10 years ago he won it with Barcelona, and maybe this is the year, but still, you saw today how they were rattled. Same at Villa Park, and they will face the oldest team, the most experienced team is this competition in Inter Milan, and it won't be easy, but I think they all believe that this could be the year.
And this is the thing, I mean, you mentioned Luis Enrique, he won the treble. PSG are on for a treble this season.
They are. Which, for such a young team, really, today the average age is 24.7. You know, Dembele, well, apart from Dembele and Marquinhos, really, the others are below the age of 26. So for them to win the league, this is a given. The French Cup final is May 24th, but the big one will be this one at the end of the month.
Now you got to tell me, can you win it?
Yeah, of course. I think over one game, this team is so good that they can beat anybody. But I think they will have to learn a lot from what happened tonight. And then they will fancy their chances, because they should. They've been probably in 2025 the best team in Europe.
You know, we need to let you, Jules, just leave here and just forget about work and just